The NFL is back and we are in week 3 of the NFL. So let's see our predictions for this week's games, and I'm also going to show you your best possible team for ESPN Fantasy for this week 3 of the NFL. So we see for Thursday night football, we get kicked off in the week with Bills Dolphins, another division game. I think the Bills are going to win this because 2-0 team, Josh Allen, James Cook, just wonderful team in general for both of them. I think the Dolphins have a good team too. It's just they've not been living up to what they can play to, and I think Buffalo will take advantage of that and will definitely take that game away. Then we see that Bengals are playing the Vikings, first game on Sunday. So playing in US Bank in Minnesota. Joe Burrow is injured, and without Joe Burrow, I don't know what the Bengals could do, but since Minnesota also doesn't have JJ McCarthy or Aaron Jones, so that could potentially be really bad for them. And both have star receivers, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, LSU. But I honestly think that Cincinnati is going to come away with the win in this game because Minnesota has some really important missing players, and Cincinnati didn't play bad even with their backup QB. As a matter of fact, the Vikings actually also lost to the Falcons, if I'm not wrong. Right, let me check that. But I think the Vikings lost to the Falcons, and that's saying something, honestly. Yeah, yeah, 22-6. They didn't even get a touchdown. It was all field goals. And the Falcons scored a touchdown in like the last 2 minutes. That's good defense, but their offense isn't really helping them out here. Texans Jaguars. I think the Texans are gonna win it with C.J. Stroud and a good defense too, Azeez Al-Shire, and that's just a good defense in general. Colts Titans. I think that the Colts are gonna win this because honestly, the Titans are 0-2, Colts are 2-0. Colts been performing. Michael Pittman. I don't recall who their quarterback is, but Michael Pittman, he's good. Tennessee Titans don't really have not been playing that great. But yeah, Raiders Commanders. I think that the Commanders are going to win this, even though they're both 1-1 teams. But and the Commanders are going to come away with this because of Jaden Daniels, and he's just a really good quarterback in general. I think he won the Heisman too. Rams Eagles. Eagles are going to come away with this Super Bowl winning team. That's just wonderful Super Bowl winning. Coming out this season with great confidence. Definitely looking for a great season. Next, we see the Falcons versus the Panthers. I feel the Falcons are going to dominate this game because of how, in the manner they beat Minnesota, didn't allow a single touchdown. That's really good defense, and I think that's just really good on their part. And if their defense performs, their offense is also really good. Bijan, Michael Penix, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, it's a good team in general. Then we see Steelers versus the Patriots. I think the Steelers are going to come away with this. Aaron Rodgers, I think that he's good, and the Steelers team is an overall better team than the Patriots. I mean, obviously, I was not too fond of that Rodgers Fields trade, but I think the Jets did win that. But I think that the Steelers are still going to win the game against the Patriots on Sunday morning. Packers Browns, 2-0 Packers even beat the Detroit Lions. Definitely a Super Bowl capable team, but I think the Packers are going to win this against the Browns. Micah Parsons. That was a very shocking trade. It reminds me of the Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade in basketball, but this time with Micah Parsons. And yeah, Jets Bucks. We see. I think the Bucks are going to win this. Like even though they have Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. I think the Bucks are going to win this with Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans. I think it's going to be a better game for the Bucks, not really as much for the Jets. And as you can see, it was a 2-0 and 0-2. Then we see the Broncos versus the Chargers for the first afternoon game. I'm getting the feeling that the Chargers are going to win this because Justin Herbert, then there's Lad McConkey, and it's happening at their home too, SoFi. So that's going to be a good game for the Chargers. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Chargers will take it away. Then we see that the Saints are playing the Seahawks. I genuinely think that the Seahawks are going to win this. Like Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp. I can't think of anybody else, but that's a good team. And the Saints haven't started their season very nicely, and I feel like the Seahawks will take that win away. Cowboys versus Bears. Two teams that have not been performing great. Cowboys are 1-1, so I do think they're going to beat the Bears in Soldier Field, Chicago. But this is going to be a close game between the Bears and the Cowboys, but the Cowboys will come away with it in a really close game, I feel. With CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Then we see the Cardinals playing the Niners. Purdy's injured, Kittle's injured, 0-2-0 teams, but so I think that the Cardinals are going to win this because two of the Niners' star players are gone, and the Cardinals just have a good quarterback, good defense, Buda Baker, and they also have Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride. I feel like that's a really good offense. James Conner. So the Cardinals are going to win that. Then we have Chiefs Giants on Sunday night. Easy game for the Chiefs. Both have an 0-2 start, except the Chiefs definitely have a better squad than the Giants do. It's really funny how they lost against the Chargers in week 1, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the Chargers. And then in week 2, it looks like they lost to the Eagles, Super Bowl rematch. I remember that. But Eagles are a good team. I'm surprised that they lost to the Chargers, if I was completely honest. But I still think they're going to win this with Mahomes and Travis. Monday night, we could be seeing a potential Super Bowl preview in this game. Prime time happening at Baltimore. That's not going to be great for Detroit because Baltimore has a really big fan base, and Detroit is a great team, but they did lose Ben Johnson, and that has hurt the team, especially in week 1 against Green Bay, because their offense didn't play that great against Green Bay, and they ended up losing, which was definitely one of the greatest upsets I've seen this season. I'm a Lions fan, and Jared Goff is my favorite player, but so I'm definitely going to have a little bias for the Lions this game. It's definitely going to go down to the wire, but I think the Lions will clutch up and take this game. And with that, that's my week 3 predictions. So let's move on to the fantasy. So, who are some players? For quarterback, we definitely have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. So as you can see, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels. I would have said Joe Burrow, except since Joe Burrow is injured, as you can see here, he's in the IR, he's injured, so otherwise I would have definitely had Joe Burrow on that list as well. Let's move on to running backs. We could definitely see Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. That would definitely be great. Oh, CMC, he's back. Christian McCaffrey would also be a great pick. Derrick Henry, not a bad pick. Now, you could also go with Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Ashton Genty, Devin Achane, and James Cook. Those would not be bad picks. Those are also pretty good picks, honestly. Alvin Kamara is, if you want, I wouldn't really. Alvin Kamara, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, and Marion Hampton. That's if you want. I'm not too fond of those few, but it's up to you guys what your opinion is on this. And then we can another few running backs. We can see Travis Etienne Jr. That wouldn't be a bad pick either. Brees Hall, not a bad pick. Yeah. Let's move on to receivers with that. So we have Ja'Marr Chase. Definitely would start Ja'Marr Chase if you have him. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Drake London, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, JSN. I wouldn't recommend starting Tyreek. I mean, if you have Tyreek, definitely you could start him. But if I had like Tyreek, I wouldn't start him if I had better players in it because his team, and he's playing the Bills too. The Bills is a really good team, so I wouldn't really start them. You could also start Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans. Actually, maybe even Marvin Harrison because they're playing the San Francisco Niners this week. So maybe even them. Let's move on to tight ends. Now, I would usually say for George Kittle for tight ends, except he's injured, which is why I'm going to go with Brock Bowers. Definitely Travis Kelce. Maybe TJ Hawkinson. Trey McBride on the Arizona Cardinals. Let's move on to defenses. You could go Broncos defense. Well, I wouldn't really recommend Broncos defense because they're going against a good team. You could do the Steelers defense, not really going against too strong of an offense. You could do Bills defense. They're not going against too strong of an offense. You could do Chiefs defense, Falcons defense, Bengals defense. I would definitely recommend some of those. And with that, let's go to kickers. Brandon Aubrey is looking like a strong pick. He's a really good kicker just in general, and he actually hit a really long kick last week. He hit 60 something, like 67, I think. 50 was 64-yard game tying kick. That's amazing. Jake Bates, I have a favor for the Lions, but he's a good kicker too. Then you could also go Chris Boswell. Honestly, I don't think that the kickers really matter until you start going from under Tyler Bass, except for Cairo Santos, Matt Gay, and Spencer Schrader. I wouldn't really go down from that. I would just stay here. And those are my fantasy picks for this season. Thank you for watching this video, and see you next week.